Yes. What is up, man?
Back, man. Dude, you ready for this, dude?
Oh, yeah. Totally ready. This is a great game. Hell of a game last night, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. SGA, everybody, man. J-Dub. But before we get into it all, let's talk a little bit about Poku because he went down. But you said something to me that implies
58 seconds.
What?
1 minute and 58 seconds is what we're looking at.
He had already hit a three. He had got a block. He was playing big in that short amount of time. But you sent me something that looked like he was a game time decision coming up, or they're still trying to evaluate it. Well, do we know anything?
I've seen this happen a lot with the Thunder players. Is that they get on game time decisions when they're extending what their look is on the player to make sure he's okay.
Right.
But I mean, the way he went down, there's no way in the world that he wasn't rushed to look at an MRI immediately.
Right. Yeah.
This is a top line organization. They take care of their players. So I know for a fact that immediately they knew exactly what was going on with his leg, his knee, his ankle, all that other stuff. The way that it went down, man, and I'll be honest, it made me sick because, I've hyperextended my knee and tore my ACL because of it. And I'm not saying that that's what it looked like, but man, if he didn't tear something serious in there, I would be shocked because of the way that his knee twisted, the way that it bent, the way it extended, the way his ankle went. It was just a mess. Maybe his ankle twisting saved his knee from tearing. I don't know. It was just a freak thing that I watched over and over and over again. And I sent you the video on it, different videos, different clips, taking a picture of exactly where he did it so you can see the extension, hyperextension, the pop that happened with it. Whew, it was just, I don't know, man. I fell for Poku in a big way because he's done through so much through the season, and to see him only get, this far and all of a sudden have something like this that could be serious, it's not good. You don't want to see this from him. You don't want to see this for him. You want to see him get better and have, stretches where he's playing 15, 16 games in a row, not have to sit out 15, 16 games because he hurt himself. So, obviously our thoughts and our thoughts are with him right now. So hopefully he gets better. And if not, then, obviously we will see him next year and it'll be exciting to see him next year. But I really hope he does get better this season. And I hope it's one of those things where we look at, injury report for the next game against the Hornets and it says game time decision. I hope that's the truth, because
that would indicate that
you don't want to see
clear
it from
of
these young
major
kids,
stuff, right? And do we see
exactly?
We saw Baisley step in and play some minutes. We saw Moose play some minutes. Combined, they did a really good job.
Yeah, they stepped up and played those minutes.
Right, they both had 21 minutes there. Baisley, a little bit out of the offensive flow, was able to get to the free throw line a few times to kind of bail himself out, but overall, I thought, when he knocked down that three and he started getting into the flow of the offense and stuff, he was looking pretty good. He's still got some more steps to go, but, you could tell he wasn't quite ready to be his number to be called off the bench at that moment, and he worked his way into the game. Moose had 19 points. Incredible game for him. Right. We had a lot of balance, man. Our bench in the third quarter, which is interesting because the third quarter we still had Shea out there, obviously, right? And our bench comes out and puts up 20 plus points in the quarter, 25 points was the last time I saw. It was crazy, right? So Shea's out there and he is shooting and stuff. His shot wasn't falling, but he continued to have a really good game overall. But that third quarter was slow. The fourth quarter, the bench really built a lead, and not just the bench because there's some starters out there.
It was J-Dub, though, man. That
J-Dub,
that fourth,
Giddy was out there playing really good.
He flexed his ability in the assists that he had. He flexed his ability in the dunks that he had. He did so much out there in that fourth quarter. It was really spectacular. J-Dub, in my opinion, took huge steps last night in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and he stayed with his foot down on the pedal all game, and he really accelerated. He was, blocking the ball. He was dunking on people. He was hitting his mid-range shot.
Loose ball hustles.
What?
Loose ball hustles. He was
9
everywhere.
Rebounds, dude. Going and just taking the ball from people. So
it was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. And then Trey Mann comes in off the bench.
Whew.
And just gets going. I mean, this is a couple games after being in the G League. And then last game, he had a pretty good game, and he found himself in the spot at the end of the game with the ball in his hands, and he shot the ball at the end of regulation, had a chance to win it. This game, he comes out, and he's just like so much more controlled, so much better, and in so many different ways. I'm like, I'm not saying he won't go back to the G League, but if he's playing like this, he won't need to.
Yeah, but this is why the G League is so powerful, is because in the past you'll see these young players that get in these funks, man. They get in like this massive shitty funks, and there's nothing that they can do to get out of them, right? Nothing. Like Coach gave Trey Mann, like, I don't know, I think like 20-something minutes one night and barely scored any points, just wasn't playing well, wasn't playing up to Trey Mann's standard. And that's the game before he went to the G League. In the past, the coaches will just give guys playing time. Well, they'll get over it. But utilizing that G League to help these young men, figure it out is one of the most powerful moves that you can do as an organization, is because now you're normalizing the G League. Before, think about it. When we started talking about Poku originally going back to the G League, and everybody's like, that's it. Poku's done. He had to go to the G League. The G League is the death for all NBA players. And we sat there and we said, no, the G League is designed so that it gets these guys stronger and better and understanding their roles more in NBA games. And that's exactly what this time was so good for Trey Mann, was because that's exactly what he got there, man. He was out there hustling, balls to the wall. He was diving on the ball for the court for loose balls. Like, he was doing everything out there. And it was all because, like, again, it's not necessarily a humbling experience if it's part of the organization's mindset that you're going to the G League. We need to get you some good quality minutes, get your confidence up. How many games it will be? That's up to you, man, how hard you're going to work. And we saw Trey Mann obviously put up, 75 points in 2 games? I mean, that's pretty fucking phenomenal if you ask me.
Yeah, and then you go down the list. I mean, we got contributions from everybody. And Poku obviously played the least minutes in the game, but we saw like a real balance side of that. So we saw Isaiah Joe with 15 minutes. He had the second least. And then Kenrich Williams with just about 18 minutes. So everybody played. Everybody contributed. And Aaron Wiggins and Kenny Hustle holding down the fort, in that fourth quarter, just making the right plays at the right time.
Veteran
not just the
moves,
fourth quarter.
baby.
What?
Veteran moves, baby.
Yeah. And, man, Wiggins, I think a lot of people were like, what's up with the Wiggins early in the season? He's out of the rotation, yada, yada, yada. Well, we're a young team. It's hard to stay healthy. And when your number's called, you be ready. You're getting more opportunities. Absolutely. And that's what we're seeing here.
Absolutely, man. It's exciting. I mean, like, what else do you want? I mean, this is a young team, youngest team in the NBA right now. And they're out there hustling. I mean, Shea didn't get his 35-plus minutes a game that we've seen, but he did play overtime, which I think he played 40, 41 minutes a game before. So this is exactly what we need to see when guys go out there and play really hard. Like, next game they come back and they play less minutes. I mean, the 2 guys that played the most were Shea at 33 and J-Dub at 31. So that's what we need from this young team, is we need to see consistent minutes from the bench, consistent minutes from those young guys. And, we'll have games like this. And we got the Hornets next, another team that's struggling. Like, this is a really good time for us to be flexing our muscles. And we're, 4 and 3 in the last 7 games. So, like, this is a great time, great opportunity to look at what's happening here in Oklahoma City and recognize that we're really good. I mean, 10-8 at home, that's a pretty good record at home if you ask me. And 15-9, so we're still getting away the away time, getting our feet underneath us. But something that Nick Gallo said yesterday was we've had the 3 losses at home in the last 7 games. We're a combined loss of 7 points. So, I mean, that really just tells you exactly where this team's at. We're 7 points away from being, 7-0 on the homestand. So, hell of a job by this team last night at putting a punctuation on the fact that this is our last home game for, a couple games. So,
yeah, I mean, we really won it for all 48 minutes. And we've seen games where, almost like a 10-point lead is worse for us than a 10-point deficit. Because we know we can come back from 10 down. We do it all the time. But 10 up, we're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to hold on to this lead? It's much more nerve-wracking. So you know, closing out that third quarter, you know, putting the pedal to the metal in the fourth quarter and really walking away with this game is a great thing. We didn't mention Popovich getting thrown out early in the game. That was enjoyable. I'm sure
by design.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just said a couple of specific words. You know what I mean? Like people, like Sean Elliott was complaining a little bit.
I read his lips.
What'd you say?
Do your fucking job.
All right, and so
that was his last words. Do your fucking job.
So there you go. You're out of here. And then as far as like listening to Sean Elliott, he really loves Trey Mann.
Yeah.
Really loves him, bro.
Oh yeah.
Loves Josh Giddey. Loves Shea. Loves Dort. Loves J-Dub. Loves Wiggins. Loves Moose. Like, what is going on here, bro?
Well, it's because, I mean, think about this. I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, Sean Elliott was around when, you know, Sam Presti was a young 20-year-old or late 20-year-old guy. When Chip Kelly was there as a shooting
Chip
coach.
England,
like,
yeah.
He's there. You know, Chip Kelly, I'm sorry. Chip England, you're right. So he's been there and he watched how a successful organization like the Oklahoma City Thunder really was started off the back of this San Antonio Spurs. No matter what you want to say, you know, we came from ownership of the San Antonio Spurs. We sold the ownership to the Spurs and bought the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's how it all turned back, or bought the Supersonics. So it really was built off of that. And because of that, of course, you're going to see Sean Elliott, who's a legend, who's going to look at it and be like, look at, oh yeah, I love these guys. Is because, you know, like this is essentially, you know, another team, another organization that is built the right way, like San Antonio Spurs were all those years with Popovich and stuff like that. So it's exciting seeing that. And I'm excited for this team because, you know, I decided to listen to Nick Gallo and Michael Cage last night, which I really like those two when they're doing commentary together, because Michael Cage is, you know, a lot more relaxed with Nick Gallo because, you know, Chris Fisher really like rallies, gets Nick Cage, like
Nick Cage.
Gets Nick Cage. You know what I'm saying? Gets Cage, Michael Cage, gets him going, you know, like gets him going. And like, I get like to the point where it's like, sometimes it's so intense listening to Michael Cage, but anyways, it was good to see that Nick Gallo had a very calming influence on Michael Cage. And listen, I got the names right because when I was thinking about this last night saying something, I kept on going back to Nick Fisher, which I was like, that's not right. Why is this not right? Nick Fisher's not right. It was because I was combining, you know, Gallo and Fisher. So Fisher's name, so
Nick Cage is on our staff now. Everybody, no, man, it was fun. I listened to the Spurs. I enjoyed the insight. Ultimately, you know, they're a team that has history, and they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of like look at us and kind of say, hey, we're 14 years into ours, and they're 50, you know, and we're starting to see some of these great players pop up, and they're kind of like looking at it. Where are they going to come from? How are we going to get the next guy? It's going to be for the draft, through development, but they don't really have anybody on their team that really gets everybody excited. So, you know, it's a rough thing for them.
Shohan, I love Shohan, man. Shohan, whatever his name is. Dude, he's special. And I think the more time that he gets developing there, the better for him. But we'll see. I don't know.
Absolutely, man. So, last couple episodes, we were able to have some of our favorite people, man. It's been awesome to have Chencho and George on the show. I feel like we're at this point where the people who really make up the community of listeners, right? Like, they're the reason that we do this, you know? So we appreciate Chencho, we appreciate George, we appreciate everybody else who's taking the time to listen, because you guys are what it's all about. Like, we simply want to see this team do the best they can, and we want to support this team and watch it as close as we can. And having other people around the country, around the world, to share that with means everything to us. So we just want to give you guys who are listening right now a massive shout out. Like, you guys mean everything to us. I really could go on and on, but that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I echo exactly what Mark is saying. When we first started this, like, we had very few listeners. we had a lot of curious people pop on and made our numbers look really, really good. But they never really listened to a lot because we were just learning. A lot of it was we didn't have mics, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. So there's a lot of guys that started in the beginning, like Chencho, and like George, like we had yesterday or the other day, yesterday actually, yeah. So it's important for us to make sure that these guys have a voice and have a place to be heard. And whenever we see somebody that's halfway intelligent on Twitter talking about how they like this team, like we reach out to them and we thank them for having a positive voice. And then eventually, if they keep on talking positive or they flex their muscles on how smart and intelligent they are, we invite them on the show. It's because it's about making sure the Oklahoma City Thunder fans that are truly intelligent in the aspect of understanding what's happening with this organization they have voices, And another one I want to have on here, he did that video of Chet. I'm talking about the guy from Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, Thunder Dave.
Yeah. We need to get him back on the show, man. Yeah. He was great to have. Really smart, person, part of our group too. And it's just, to us, it's an opportunity for the guys around us, no matter where you live or how broken your English is, as we say. Like, we don't care. We want you on our show so we can talk. And I've talked to a lot of people across the world, in different countries that don't want to be on the show because they just don't like the way they talk, or their English isn't good enough. And that's fine. We don't want to put pressure on you like that. But here is the microphone right here, guys. It's yours just as much as it is ours, because you guys are the ones that have given us that voice. And to us, it's just, as we're looking at this new year and Christmas just passed, like it's a positive thing to be able to look at and be, truly thankful for each one of the guys that have listened to us and put us on the radio or a podcast or wherever you listen to us. Like, we truly appreciate it, because it means something to us, and it's why we continuously put something out here for you.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago now, almost to the day, where we got our start, bro. You were living in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I was in Oklahoma, seeing my in-laws with the family. I climbed up into the attic, and we started recording on our cell phones because we felt like we had something different to say. And holy shit, we were right, man. And honestly, it was great that we started out anonymous, bro. And whenever Royce figured out who we were, dude, and he put it on his
Royce
Twitter,
Young,
he doxed us, bro.
Yeah, we figured out who you are.
Yeah, we're like, it was pretty exciting to have a little run there being anonymous, and it was a hell of a ride. We were waiting till we had microphones and we had good setups to tell people who we were, but Royce beat us to it. So at that point, man, we just rode it. And here we are 2 years later, worldwide impact, worldwide community, and really it comes down to just every single individual just deciding to take some time and listen. So we want to give you guys a shout out. This is a shorter podcast because my water pipe broke in the house, so I have people on the way over.
That's not a sex innuendo, guys, either. That is a pure breakage of pipes.
Yeah. Big water mess, but we were able to catch it before it ruined everything. And yeah, it was cold, but we stayed warm. Here we are, about to get everything fixed, or at least people check it out. But that's why we got to go kind of quickly. But we just want to let you know how much we love you.
Absolutely. Thanks again, guys, for listening. And we'll be back tomorrow or the next day. We got a game tomorrow night, so we'll probably be back Friday. And definitely have some great conversations to talk to you about, because we didn't get to it today.
Yeah.
But that's all right. We'll be back.
Keep it sexy, my friends. Keep it sexy.
Fuck yeah, baby. Keep that sexy.